And welcome to Facebook Live. My name is Gavin Reynolds from the Surrey Cricket Foundation, and we are here today with Amy Gordon and Rhianna Southby. Welcome, girls. How are you both?
Yeah, good.
I think you're going to talk first.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
So welcome to all of those people out there who are joining us today. We've got an exciting Q&A with two of our young, exciting Surrey players, and looking forward to sharing some stories and Rhianna and Amy telling us all about how they've got into cricket, a game they absolutely love, and their hopes and dreams for the future. If anyone is on the Facebook Live today and would like to send in some questions on a chat, please do. We'd love to hear some questions from you guys out in the local schools, how potentially you might be someone who wants to get into cricket, and what are the steps and the ways that we can help you on your journey. So we're just going to kick off today with getting to know our two fantastic players. So we're going to start with Amy. Amy, if you just want to let us know a little bit about you as a player and how you got into cricket, so that we can start off today.
I first started playing cricket when I was 9 years old officially. I mean, I played with my dad in the garden probably since I could walk, as he played himself. But they put me up for a club when I was 9. My first season was for Tabworth. In one of my first games, I got asked to go, it was suggested for me to go trial for Surrey. And since that point, I've been in the Surrey system. Played for the Surrey Stars a couple of years ago.
Fantastic.
Following into the South East Stars, and now the Welsh Fire.
Brilliant. And we'll come back to that in the next set of questions. So Rhianna, tell us a little about yourself. What got you into cricket, and a little bit about you as a player as well.
Okay, so my brother was playing cricket when I was young, so I hated the fact that he got all the attention for it in the family. Like, I hated it. I'm the younger one, so I want all the attention naturally. And my earliest memory of playing cricket is in the garden with my dad, and he was trying to teach my brother how to play a forward defensive. My brother just wasn't getting it, so I decided I'd go out there and show him up. I put on his pads. They were obviously too big for me, as everything still is now. And yeah, it just kind of went from there. I just loved it. I loved just wanting to do something like that. And then started playing for Sunbury at Grasshoppers. So I must have been 5, I think. And then yeah, played for Sunbury through the age groups. Moved to Ashford Ladies. I was playing for Surrey since I was 9. And yeah, I was playing under 11s cricket, so I was fairly young. And then yeah, from Surrey went through the age groups into the ladies stuff, and then I also played for the Surrey Stars. And Amy and myself both won the Super League, which is pretty awesome. And yeah, now I'm playing for Southby Stars, and my 100 team is the Oval Invincibles.
Fantastic. So going back to yourself, Amy, talk us through those sort of initial phases of you playing cricket as a youngster, and you know, as you developed and started playing for Surrey at such a young age. What are you as a cricketer, for those out there? Let us know what you are. Are you an exciting young fast bowler, bats a bit? What are you?
Yeah, exciting young bowler who bats a little bit, I'd say my speciality is fielding.
Which we all need, right, to be good cricketers.
Yeah, good fielder. I think when I was 9, I was very, very shy. So I was forced into cricket. My brother was at Tadworth, and I quite enjoyed going to watch him. So I feel like my parents kind of like, go and try it. So yeah, I was kind of thrown into it. But then I started to really enjoy it and come out of my shell a little bit more. So I was one of those kids that used to run in from the boundary to bowl. Took me about 8 hours to get there, but I'd bowl and over. I couldn't bat to save my life. But my bowling was enough to get me in at a 9-year-old in the under 11s. And then from there, yeah, I was sort of went through the age groups until I was under 13s, and I broke out into the EPP, which was the Emerging Players Program. So that meant it was like a special Friday night training for just a selective few. I think it was about 10. Rihanna was there, so she can confirm or deny. Then from there, I was still going through the age groups, but then put into the Surrey Women's squad. I don't think I played for the first year, but it was mainly just to be around the environment, and I was capped between 14 and 15, not 100% sure. Can't quite remember the age.
15.
Might have been 15 because it's a couple of weeks after Rihanna, so she can again confirm or deny that age. And then since then, I've been playing. First year in the KSL, I was called up halfway through following an injury. That was the year we won. So I was a drinks runner, but it was enough to get me into the squad the year after, the final year of the KSL.
Yeah.
And then from there, Southby Stars, and then I got a call from Wales to join in on the 100 last year, but it was unfortunately cancelled, so the contract carried over to this year.
Exciting times ahead. Fantastic. And Rhianna, what about yourself? For those out there, what's your specialist role within cricket?
So I'm a wicketkeeper. Most would say I'm probably a little bit off my head for it, but that's fine. You've got to have a little bit of a screw loose to do it. So I actually started keeping when I was 11. My coaches at the time with Surrey were Catherine Robson and Jeremy Greaves. And we didn't have a wicketkeeper. So what they did, we didn't know what they were doing, just lining up in the hole, just taking catches behind a set of stumps. He pulled me aside at the end of the session and just said, look, if you want to be the best keeper in the country, I'll make you it. And I said, I'll think about it. I'll see. And from there, it's history. I fell in love with it. I shared the keeping for a couple of seasons just while I was getting used to it. It's quite an intense thing, obviously, because there's a lot of squatting, and I was quite young, so my body wasn't used to it. A bit young to be doing weights and stuff like that, so needed to kind of build up to it. But every single time I did it, I loved it, and I still do. It's for me, it's definitely the best part of the game, is keeping.
And for any budding young boys and girls out there coming through potentially at their primary schools and local clubs, what are some of the key things to think about if you're going to be not just a keeper, but maybe back to yourself in a minute, Amy, as a bowler? What do you need to be thinking about as a young sportsman coming through?
I think mostly and mainly the most important thing for sure is you've just got to enjoy it. Anything you do, whether you want to be a batter, if you want to be a bowler, a specialist fielder like Amy, or a wicket keeper, you've just got to enjoy it. And every single time you do it, put as much effort into it as you can, and then just do it with a smile on your face, and you'll be fine.
So we know some wicket keepers can tend to be quite chatty. Would you describe yourself as quite a chirpy, chatty sort of wicket keeper?
Yeah, very much so, but not a sledger. I'm not a sledger at all. I'm actually quite a nice one, but I think that's what people get annoyed with, because I think I talk to them too much, and I think I get them out that way. I just don't know when to stop talking. It's one of those.
Brilliant. Amy, just as being a bowler, what are some of the things youngsters need to think about who are coming through with their bowling?
I agree. You definitely need to enjoy it. I mean, as a fast bowler, I'm sure one of the first games you see is a man again running in from the boundary. So you've got to be able to enjoy running all day, every day. It's mainly when you're coming through, you've got to work out what you enjoy most, whether that's bowling spin, bowling pace. I think everyone starts out as a bowler. No one starts out as a specialist batter. So you got to stick with it as much as you can, and keep working on the fundamentals and having fun.
And just touching on both of you as batters, for any young keen batters out there, what's your batting like, Amy? Where do you normally bat in a team? And then passing on to Rihanna after that.
It depends on the game. Depends on what team. Bit of a floater. I'm happy to go up and down the order. I wouldn't say anywhere above 3. I'm definitely not an opener. You have to have a certain skill for that, and that is not me. As a batter, I'm more of a trying to hit big big shots.
She hits bombs, basically. She's knocking herself down, but she hits bombs.
Go big, go home. I'm very much a go home kind of girl, but I try.
Brilliant, brilliant. And Rihanna, what about yourself? Wicket keeper. Do you open the batting? Where do you bat normally in a team?
No, I bat middle to lower order. I am not a bomb hitter. I mean, I'm 5'2". I'd be impressed if I was. 5'2.5". I'm not going to take that away from myself. But yeah, I think from batting for me is very much a point of development, and it will be for the next few years. And hopefully I can make my way into more of a middle order batter. I don't really want to be anywhere near the top. I'm quite happy to let other people deal with that. I like to come in, rotate the strike, get the other person on strike, and kind of let them do what they need to. But I'm very happy to play a supporting role.
Brilliant. Right, now listen, I'm going to start off. We've got a few questions that have already come in. So I'm going to start off throwing these out to you. And I'm going to sort of share them between you both. So we've got one here. We'll start off with you, Amy. There's one here from Bella Hilsden. She's aged 8. She's in year 3 at Reigate Parish Church Primary School, a school you might have delivered coaching in the past. And a question here. What skills can I practice in my back garden with my brothers? Who wants to? Amy, do you want to?
Yeah, I'll go with
that one.
You can practice throwing and catching. Easiest game to play. You try and throw it at each other as hard as you can and catch it. No hurting each other. Draw the line somewhere. If you have a bat,
when I was young.
No, I had to draw a line because my brother's older than me and he would try to hurt me. So there are some rules.
Safety first and all that. Safety first.
If you have a bat, you can play fun games like the defensive game. That's a great game to play in the garden, depending on size. If you hit it over the garden, you are out. And you have to go knock on next door neighbour's door and ask for the ball.
Don't smash a window. No
smashing windows. Play with the windows behind you. Defensive game, yeah. And then you can practice like 1 hand, 1 bounce. If you've got a dog, 1 bounce, 1 mouth. That works also. That's what we used to do, and I used to get out a lot in that way. There's lots of skills. You can practice everything. Bowling, but you just bowl it straight into the floor. You can roll the ball out to yourself, run and chase it, pick it up and turn and throw.
Bit of fielding in there.
Bit of fielding. You can do anything. Anything with a ball. If you've got a wall that you're allowed to throw the ball against, obviously a tennis ball, not too hard. Practice with 1 hand, 2 hands, try and throw it over you, catch it behind you.
Sounds like lots of possibilities there for our youngsters in their back garden. Some kids out there might still be off school, but potentially hopefully looking to come back from the 8th of March. So some great ideas there. So a question for you, Rihanna. How have you kept fit over the lockdown period over the last sort of year, I guess?
I guess a lot of running. So just trying to get out and do some running. I think in lockdown number 1, it was a lot easier to stay fit than lockdown number 3, where it's a little bit colder and you kind of want to hibernate a bit more. But look, that's when you kind of got to get motivate yourself to get out and do something. In lockdown number 1, we were doing team S&C sessions. So every Wednesday night we'd get together and do a bit of fitness over Zoom, which I think that was on Twitter, so people might have seen that. But lots of that, and then other than that, just home workouts, getting out to do a lot of walking as well. Like, you don't just have to run, you can just go for long walks. That's just as important, because I believe staying fit is not just about your body, it's about your head as well, just keeping yourself ticking over.
Now, a little rumour has it that both of you have got dogs. Does that help when you're out and about going for walks? What sort of dogs have you got?
Go on, Angie, go first.
I have a Weimaraner. For anyone that doesn't know, it's basically like a fatter greyhound. So they're not as skinny. His name's Maverick.
Nice.
But he's very lazy, so he gets about 1 walk a week. He is 9. Or 10. I'm not too sure. He's quite old. But yeah, he makes it difficult to play in the garden. I think we tried once in the first lockdown, and he just, like I said, he gets us out a lot, so it's not very fun. But yeah, he's a great walking partner. Not quite running.
Excuse to get you out and about. Rihanna, have you got I believe you've got a dog as well. Does that take you
Yeah.
on runs?
So I have a miniature cockapoo. Her name's Callie. I've got a picture up for you.
Very nice. Look at that. All
Um,
the families out there, potentially have got animals. Fantastic. Go
yeah,
on, tell us about your life.
she's lovely. She's lovely. She's full of energy. I do you know the reason I love the fact that I've got a dog is because I've got to get up and I've got to do something. I have to take her for a walk every day because she's only 6 months, so she's so full of energy. She needs to get out and have a good couple of hours run around, and that means that so do I. But something I've started recently is taking her for runs with me, which is quite difficult at first because she gets excited when she sees me running and then tries to jump up at me. But now I've settled her down a little bit, and she's quite happy to run next to me, and she drags me along most of the time, to be honest.
How long's that run? 5K, 10K?
We started slow with 3Ks just to get her used to it. We're heading towards 5Ks now.
Brilliant. I've got one more question here from Bella. And maybe this for either of you, don't mind who wants to answer. What is your funniest moment playing cricket? What have you got an experience, a story? Happy to throw it out there to either of you.
Okay, I'll go first. I actually walked onto a cricket pitch before with my helmet, my inners, and no keeping gloves. Which, as a wicketkeeper, is not my funniest moment. But it could have been worse, I guess. It could have been.
Did you get right out into the middle before you?
Yeah. I was ready to set up. Everybody was ready. I just had to run back off and get my gloves.
Amy, yourself?
I can't think of anything as embarrassing as that. I'm not normally a forgetful person. I think cricket in general is just quite funny. I mean, if you don't have a lot of funny moments, then it's a long day out in the field.
For sure, 100%.
You got to bring the fun.
Right, I've got another question here. This is from Amelia Potter, member of Reigate Priory Cricket Club. And her question, how old were you when you started playing cricket? The first time you picked up a bat? I know, Amy, you were saying you were kind of around 8 or 9. Did you play any, were you a little bit younger before that? Or?
Yeah, I used to go to it was like a fun, I think it was called Holiday Fun Week. And you used to be able to pick, so it was like 9 till 12, and then you could do like an extra hour of sport afterwards. And I'd pick cricket twice a week and rounders twice a week. So I definitely picked up a bat from probably about 4. Don't think I could use it. I tried. But yeah, I'd say 4 I first picked up a bat. Brilliant.
And next question here, one for you, Rihanna. This is an interesting one. And this comes from Sophia Potter, player at Reigate Priory Cricket Club. She's been coached by Amy, but I'll throw it out to Rihanna. You think that girls and boys should play mixed teams, and if so, why?
Well, they do play mixed teams, and I did up to the age of, I think I was maybe 13 or 14. But even now I still dip into to boys teams. I play for Sunbury, so I played for Sunbury under 19s. But then we also play men's cricket as well. So I played men's cricket all last year with Ashford Cricket Club. Mm-hmm. I would 100% recommend, if you are a young lady wanting to get into cricket, play with boys, because it will make you stronger, it will make you tougher. And when you then play girls cricket, you'll be able to use the skills you've picked up from the boys' games, and you'll be a better player within the girls' environment.
So a real positive message for any young sort of female players that don't sort of be afraid to get involved and play with the guys, basically. Amy, yourself, what's your thoughts?
I agree. My best figures were for under 19s men's game. Also, the younger you are and a girl in a boys team, the boys really don't want to get out to you, so they actually get themselves out more easier than they do as if they weren't scared. So 100% I would play men's matches or boys matches as much as you can, because I was the only girl in a boys team up until I was 14.
Tell us about those figures, just for those that might want to know. How did you get on in that game?
So it's T20. So I bowled 4 overs, 5 for 17, I believe.
Brilliant.
First fifer, first best economy rate, I think. Good day all round.
Showing off now, right?
I think they were all catches, if I'm honest. I don't think I actually did anything myself.
So a question here that's come in from an anonymous. Amy, what about hitting yourself in the head with your bat when you were playing indoor cricket?
Oh, no.
What was that all about?
I've hit myself in the head multiple times when batting. I have definitely swung hard and hit myself in the head. I've swung hard, I think, at a no ball when I hit the stumps. But I also went to go ramp the ball in a T20 game, and I have a video of it somewhere.
I was going to say, I swear there's a video. Yeah.
There's a video of me going straight like this, and the ball just hits me straight in the middle of the forehead. I am wearing a helmet, but then it just rolls off. I've got a slow-mo of that somewhere as well.
But you're trying different shots, right? It's exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Now, someone called, I've just got a message here, Martha Harris. I'm only 11, I've played with the boys in my team, and I have been doing that since she was 5 years old. So just goes to show anyone out there, mixed teams, don't be afraid, get involved, boys and girls, sounds great. Next question, also from Sophia, what is your sporting highlight to date? So Rhianna, do you want to pick out something?
Yeah, because I've got 2. So my first one, I say 2 because the first one obviously I didn't actually play in, so the Super League final, because obviously Sarah Taylor was keeping in front of me. There's worse people to have in front of you. So the Super League final for me is huge. It's the first major competition I've won, and it's definitely something that will stick with me for the rest of my life. And then my second, where I've actually played, is we played a game at Lords against Middlesex in the London Cup. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get across the line in the end due to a streaky edge. We're not going to talk about it. But in that game, personal highlight of mine, I got 3 stumpings and was woman of the match.
Brilliant. Amy, what about yourself?
I've got quite a few. They're not like, because they're all small achievements to me are big achievements. So like getting my first 100, it was a massive achievement. I could probably tell you all the shots I played in order, if I'm honest.
We haven't got that long.
Yeah, how long have you got? Because I think school finishes at 3.
Yeah.
The KSL final, again, I didn't play either, but it was amazing to watch. Agreed playing at Lords, something everyone wants to do. I mean, it rained most of the day, but still great. The food was amazing. If you ever get to play at Lords, take it for the food. And then my other favourite one was playing for the first time for the Surrey Stars in the KSL.
And how old were you at that time?
17, 18. But yeah, first game, big wicket, done the job.
Who did you get out?
Oh,
Don't throw it to me.
We had against. I know I got Healy out in one of the games. That's a big name. I'll throw that one out there. That's a different one, but still the same. I think we were playing 5 minutes.
Yeah, just on that. So what, for some 16, 17-year-olds in that situation, what's going through your mind as you're sort of playing and running into bowl and batting against sort of more experienced players? How do you settle your nerves?
I don't. I use them. I think I first started bowling that over against Healy, and she wasn't on strike, so I was like, right, all I've got to do here is either get smacked for a 4 or a dot, so she doesn't get on strike. She was on like the form of her life that year, and then she was they ran a 1 and she was on strike, and I was so nervous, but I was just like, I've just got a bowl. Yeah. It's just another player. It's one more ball. You got to run in and let go of the ball and hope it pays off.
Yeah.
And then she chipped it up to mid off. All March caught it.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, one more question there from Sophia. Who has inspired you to do well in cricket? Have you got, as you were coming up through the game, did you have any sporting sort of icons? Rihanna, maybe to start with.
Yeah, so my idol, everybody knows it, to be fair. My idol is Sarah Taylor. Always have been since I think I first met her when I was about 12, maybe. I just look, she's insane. Like, she's definitely at her best. She was the best in the world, and there's no disputing that. And then obviously when she was my teammate and I got to watch her operate and stuff like that, it was brilliant for me.
For any of those people out there just who might not know who Sarah Taylor is, do you want to just sort of give a bit of an overview of her as a player?
Yeah, I can try. So Sarah Taylor was England ladies wicket keeper for, I think she started playing for England when she was 16, so very young, and has only recently put the gloves away. But she, yeah, as I said, in her peak, she was the best in the world at what she did. If I can be anywhere as near as good as her, then I'll be happy.
Brilliant. Amy, yourself?
I have a couple of people, like, parents, cricket friends, all that. And then you have the like famous cricketers. So you've got like your Joe Root, your Ben Stokes, the game changers. But then I'm more of a, like, if someone says something to me, that sticks with me more. So I think my first one was that, I think it was Sarah Taylor at the we have that London Cup against Middlesex every year. The first time I played in that, they had an overseas, can't remember her name, but she was bowling 70 miles per hour at my head, and I just tried to stick it out, and I got a couple snicks. I
know who you're talking about, and I can't remember her name.
And I was terrified. Honestly, I think it was my first game for Surrey women, honestly. And she was bowling a lot faster than I've ever faced. And then I walked off the pitch and Sarah Taylor was like, well done, you held your own. Yeah. And I was like, thanks. Like, you're actually someone, and I'm literally just playing a Surrey game. But stuff like that sticks with me more, I think.
Brilliant. Okay, I've got a few more questions coming in now. This one is from Jessica Ebert, I think you pronounce her name, Ebert. What does it feel like to play cricket in front of hundreds of people, if not thousands of people? Back to you, Amy, for that one. Have you had that?
We have. I wouldn't say thousands. Just, yeah.
You will do this summer. You will
hopefully, but we'll go with hundreds. Honestly, I kind of forget they're there. I see my parents, I see my family, and that's about it. It's a bit strange because you can hear a lot more than you think. Like when you watch it on telly and you hear all that buzz, you're like, oh, they probably can't hear it, but you honestly can hear what someone on the boundary had for lunch 4 weeks ago. Like, you can hear their everyday conversations. So it's just like they're not talking about anything major. It's quite easy to just forget they're there because it's no big deal. But I mean, if you drop a catch and they're like, oh, should have caught that, you can also hear that too. So it's
you really have to be in the zone when you're actually out and about playing, right? Yeah. I think she's also got another question around inspired you, but I think we picked that one up. Next one, Zoe Galpin, aged 8, Dolphins class at Reigate Parish Primary School. One for you, Rhianna. How much pressure did you feel when you played your first game for Surrey?
My first ladies game, I'm going to go for that one because I remember that one. A lot, to be fair, a lot. Nothing from anybody else. It wasn't my parents, it wasn't my coaches, it wasn't my teammates, it was me, and purely just me putting the pressure on my own shoulders. Because like it meant a lot to me. Excuse me. Like, I'd worked so hard to get to that point, and all through the age groups and spending a couple of years with the ladies, it just meant so much that I put so much pressure on my shoulders. Luckily, I had a decent game. Unfortunately, we didn't win. But yeah, I mean, I felt a lot of pressure.
And I guess same for you, Amy. What was it, the feeling like for yourself when you?
I would say the same. Kind of the same as Rihanna, but in a different way, because I was quite young. Someone who switched out for me was obviously older, had more experience, was a lot like better at that skill than me. So I felt pressure in having to like kind of compete against them and prove that it wasn't a mistake swapping me out for them. And once you get in once, you don't want to play one game and then sit out on the bench for another year. So it's kind of, you want to make your impact in the game, and so you stay in it. So there's pressure, pretty much like Rihanna, but again, self-inflicted.
So the pressure kind of comes from within, I guess, doesn't it, to perform. Follow on from that, one more from Zoe. How much practice do you do each week, or obviously in normal sort of times outside of COVID? How many hours would you be practicing when you're not playing? Amy, do you want to go with that one?
Trying to think here.
Yeah.
We haven't had a non-COVID. I can't remember anything before COVID.
I think COVID's normal.
I think in the summer it's like 2 times a week, I'd say. Like it's typically kind of Tuesday, Thursday, play Sunday.
Yeah.
And then like the hours differ for each person, because obviously like people have different jobs, different timings they can make. But this is our first year with having a bigger competition throughout the whole of summer. So I don't know how many hours it could be in the summer this year.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it depends on who you're playing for at the time. So with Surrey, we were training a couple of times a week. Just like a couple of hours each session, maybe a gym session as well included. And then with the Surrey Stars, we were training a little bit more, maybe like 3 times a week, training the day before a game, stuff like that. And so then this year could be a lot busier for us, with the Southby Stars being a more like professional setup. We might be training a few more times, and then obviously the 100 as well. It'll be a busy year for all of us.
Yeah, so just going back to what your sort of day job, do you want to just explain to people out there what your day jobs are? Amy, if you want to just go first, what do you do in the day?
I coach cricket. I live, breathe, eat cricket all day. I am a full-time women and girls coach for Surrey Cricket Foundation. So I mainly go into schools with chance to shine, or secondary schools, to boost women and girls into the game of cricket, try to show them all what's out there, and that it doesn't have to just be a boys' game after you leave primary school. So yeah, that's my job, coaching the game that I play.
Brilliant. Rihanna, what about yourself?
Yeah, a very similar thing. So I'm part-time. So I also coach for Chance to Shine and Surrey Cricket Foundation. I go into schools from like Monday to Friday throughout the week and just coach cricket to primary schools mainly. And I love what I do. It's just, I wouldn't change it.
Fantastic. Right. Got a question here from Esther. What is your most memorable cricket game? Have you got one? Have you had one? Rihanna?
I think
in the bank?
I've had a few games with England Academy that were memorable. I've had decent games in. But for me, I think that tops all of them again is the game at Lords. It wasn't just like the personal achievement. It was just the whole. It's a bit surreal. Like if you'd have said to 12-year-old Rihanna, by the way, you're going to play at Lords with Surrey, I'd have laughed. I'd have been like, no, I'm not. You're joking. I think just the whole day itself was, something I'm never going to forget it. It's one of those.
Brilliant. And Amy?
Yeah, memorable games, they always stick around, don't they? I remember some weird games though. I don't have to necessarily do something amazing. Obviously, yeah, like I said earlier, like the 100 sticks with me, all big scores stick with you, all good bowling figures. But then you have the ones where just like that one funny thing or one amazing catch from one person sticks with you. Like it's just saying that me and Rihanna could probably list about 15 one-hand grabs that have just been so amazing. The game stuck with you.
You've got the one that was it we were playing against Worcestershire? Sophie Powell, left hand.
That's
I've never run so quick in my life.
I think we lost that game, and
I didn't care about that.
Neither did I. But that sticks with you. And I mean, I was running on the drinks that game, and like Rihanna said, I think I ran so fast over there as well.
Brilliant. Okay. Right, one from Matilda here. If you could play for any cricket team in the world, who would you want to play for?
It might be a little bit controversial, but I think I'd probably want to play for like Australian men.
Yeah,
but before the Sandgate,
Sangay.
because I don't want to be associated with that. Yeah.
Why? Yeah.
Sorry.
Go on. Sorry. Say again. Why so much the Aussie men's team? What was?
They're just an awesome team. I love the way that they're run. I watched a bit of the documentary on Amazon, and I just think it's a great environment to be in. Like they all want to be winners, and they're all hungry to win, minus the cheating. Yeah. But yeah, I think before the sandpaper gate, I think it's definitely the team for me.
Aussie men's team.
Yeah.
What about you? Same for you, Amy.
I think I'd love to be in any IPL team.
Wow.
I think the IPL is the most craziest competition going. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the scores they get, they're like typically a women's 50 over target. Yeah. The fact that they can get that in 120 balls just amazes me. And watching people like Chris Gale bat, like it scares me how he can just defend the ball and it'll go for 6. If I did that, it wouldn't even get off the square. So I would love to just be in that environment. I'll play for any team, whatever team took me, but I'd love to be over there.
Also,
playing in front of
stadium is insane.
Yes.
Like, so me and Amy were out in Mumbai in 2019. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We were out in Mumbai in 2019. We went to an IPL game. First of all, they go on for ages, so long. Secondly, wow, like just being in the stadium was insane. Such an atmosphere.
The crowd is mental.
The thought of playing in front of 60,000-70,000 people. I mean, who knows? That may happen sometime in the future for both of you. Okay, just on sort of where do you see yourself as sort of role models within the game of cricket? How do you see that as you go out and about into schools? Do you see that as a real positive?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's all I ever want to be. Is somebody people look up to and go like, I want to be like her. Not as in like my cricket inability or anything like that, but just like the person I am around my teammates and around the pitch and even like around young people. I just want to be someone that they can look up to, and just feel free to ask me questions or grab me for 10 minutes and say, can you just chuck a few balls at me? And I'd be like, yeah, of course, absolutely. Like, I love the game, and I love kids getting involved in the game. So it's so important to me. And
Amy, yourself, where do you see yourself when you're out and about, or how you portray yourself, I guess?
I agree. If anyone has a question for me, like when I've gone into schools, I'm more than happy to answer. I mean, obviously you get some questions that's like about money and stuff like that, and I kind of push those ones down. But there are anything to do with cricket, I'm more than happy to answer. When people ask about the differences of games and coaching opportunities, again, more than happy to answer. And when I'm at coaching, when I coach at clubs, I really try and get them enjoying the game. So whether that's me like joining in and trying to be really energetic and showing how fun it can be, like I'd try and get them to have that same fun that you'd want to have on the pitch, because I've noticed sometimes it gets a bit more serious when you're playing a game, but you don't want to lose the fun when you're young and trying to get into it.
Yeah. Just a question from me. How do you relax away from cricket, if that is even possible? It sounds like you two are so full on, but is there, what's your, when you sort of step away and have some time for yourself, how do you get away from it all a little bit? Maybe start with you, Amy.
I'm a big sleeper. I sound relax. I have been known to like come home in kit and fall asleep on my bed in kit.
Fine.
I know. Sleeping, big telly watcher as well. That's my relaxing. I try to completely switch off, unless I'm watching cricket. But to me, that's
With a Netflix.
Netflix. I think I've watched everything on Netflix over lockdown.
Rihanna, yourself?
Yeah, so I love spending time with my family and my friends. I've got a 1-year-old nephew named Joss, and I try and spend as much time with him as I possibly can. He's just such a funny little guy, and if there's anything that's going to take your mind off of cricket, it's a 1-year-old running around trying to eat, grab and throw everything. So yeah, for me it's just spending time with family and friends and just trying to relax.
Are you tempted to bring out the cricket bat, or is it not yet?
100%. Well, his name is Joss, after Joss Butler.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, my brother had his own way. I don't know if he's listening, but yeah, no, yeah, I'm 100% going to try and get him into it. But if it's not for him, then he can do what he wants to do.
So be it. So be it. Just thinking about your roles back in your clubs, how can we help get more girls playing club cricket? How can we open some opportunities? What sort of advice would you give out there to clubs coming through as two people that have come through the sort of club system? How did it go from? Did you have a small sort of girls section, women's section? How has it grown at your respective clubs? And any ideas for some clubs out there who might be listening to the call?
Oh,
go
first. I think one thing for the people going, first of all, you should go even if your friends aren't. Like I said earlier, I went when I was the only girl in a group of boys, and I played a year above, so it's not even like they were boys from my school. So you've got to stick with it even if your friends aren't going. And then on a club level, I mean, I work at Reigate, and seeing the girls side of it grow massively since I first started coaching there is insane. Because I think quite a lot of girls started going because their parents might have pushed them into it, so they had some social time, but then they get their friends coming, and like the younger they are, they have a big group of friends there, and then you see the girls as the age groups go up, you see the girls that stick with it because they want to play cricket, and I think that's quite a really good development, because there's now more girls as they get to 15 wanting to stick with it and play cricket for fun. And not just because their friends are there. So I think that's trying to tell them that there are good outcomes of sticking with it.
And just to finish on that one, at your club, how many sort of women and girls players are down there? Do you know any ideas?
I mean, I've coached a group of up to about 45 girls, I think, and that was just like under 9s. So I'd say
brilliant.
400, 500, maybe more.
It's massive numbers. And Rihanna, what about yourself? Your sort of club experience at Sunbury and Ashford, right?
Yeah. So we're kind of the other end of the scale. We're not 400 and 500. We're very, very low on female cricketers. Both the clubs I'm associated with, we don't have a girls section, we have a ladies section at Ashford, and that's one of the reasons I went to play for Ashford, but no ladies section at Sunbury. We started this year, myself and Chloe Brewer were coaching at Sunbury some young female cricketers, and that got a good amount of interest, and I'm hoping that it's something we can carry on. But definitely, same as Amy, like I agree, don't just or give up because your mates don't want to do it anymore. Don't think like, oh, my mates aren't going to do it, so I don't want to, because trust me, you'll make friends for life without thinking about it. Like some of the guys I was playing cricket with when I was 13, 14, I'm still friends with now, and they will stick with you. So yeah, just try and get involved. It's another sport. Just enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, do you see cricket that you spoke about a little bit, friends for life kind of? How does the social side? How much social fun can you have down at your cricket clubs?
A lot.
Keeping it relevant to our age group here. I mean,
within age groups, I think you can still have a lot. I mean, I used to personally anyway, I would go to training, and then while my parents were having older people fun, I would stay outside for another 4 or 5 hours with my friends. And I see that at club training now when I'm as a coach. Like if I stuck around, there's still a lot of kids there playing, and whether they're not playing cricket or they are playing cricket, you get a good mix after cricket training. They're still there and they're still as friends at a cricket club. So it's like your social pool. The further you get with cricket, like I barely go out with any other friends that aren't cricket now. But that's a good thing. I've made that many friends through cricket. But they're my friends outside of cricket too.
Yeah. Rihanna, anything to add on that one?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge social sport. You're obviously, because you've got a team of 11 players, you've also got a squad behind you as well. So that's just like 15 if you're an actual squad, but then obviously an age group you might have 30 of you if you're in a kid side. But yeah, it's huge for the social side, and again I'll reiterate, you've got friends for life there. Get involved.
Just a question here that's coming in from Shrimari. It's quite, has sexism influenced your career with people assuming you're not as good as the boys? Just putting it out there. Have you had issues as you were growing up? Let's who wants to go with that one?
I'll start. I used to I'd play, as I said, play with the boys. I used to get, as I'd walk out, they'd be like, this is a boys team, right? And I was like, yes, thank you. I do. I am here. I did choose to come here. Or it'd be like, I used to get questioned, are you a boy or a girl? That was always fun. So it does impact the game a lot. And I think that's why our crowds aren't quite where the men's crowds are yet as well. Because some people still have their like view around it of where it's not as good. But if you did sit and watch a women's game, you would see it's still very good standard. It might not be smacking sixes left, right, and centre just for fun, but there are other skills and techniques that the women use that make the game just as interesting.
Rihanna?
Yeah, I think my earliest memory of sexism was playing for Sunbury at Bushy Park, and unfortunately it was from my own teammates, and I just got to a point I couldn't deal with it anymore, and I had to walk off the pitch. And I just said, like, I'm not doing it. I don't have to put up with that. And I didn't. And luckily, Sunbury was so good, excuse me. And the next time I come to training, they weren't there. So I think the biggest problem, that we suffer with now is casual sexism. I think guys, I'm going to go with guys, most of the time don't obviously realise that they're doing it. So especially playing men's cricket, like you walk out to the pitch and they'll be like, oh, you're playing, that's good for you. And it's like, what does that mean? I just don't understand it. Like, and that is casual sexism. Or after you've had quite an average game, and they kind of shake your hand and go, oh yeah, like really well played. And it's like, well, no, it wasn't. Like you don't have to say that just because I'm a girl. Like I can take it.
So we've got a bit of work to do to shift that mindset.
Yeah, 100%. But look, it's very rare nowadays. I don't experience it an awful lot. I think social media is not a great place for it. But face to face, I don't experience it an awful lot.
Brilliant. Thank you for answering that. Question here that I've noted down. What's your pre-match breakfast ahead of a big game? Amy. bit of fun question.
I'm not a massive breakfast eater. I have been getting better, don't worry. Last year, normally on the way to a match, I would stop at like a Tesco's or a Co-op or something, and I'd get one of those pots of granola and yogurts. That's my pre-match breakfast. I say if I had that at home, I would eat that too. But I quite like eating it once I'm there. I'm quite a late getter-upper. I do get up and go. So I'm there early.
In the hotel and then just rolls out of bed.
Depends on the time, right? Day night match,
Yeah, all depending on the time and when I eat breakfast, really.
Rihanna?
I love breakfast. I love food in general. So I would normally go for a bit of egg on toast and some beans. Is normally my go-to. If I'm not feeling too hungry, then just some cereal. It's just important to get something in.
Brilliant. last sort of five minutes or so, but just wanted to touch on a couple of areas, a couple of programs that are out this summer: All Stars Cricket and Dynamos Cricket. For any of those maybe youngsters out there, have you got any sort of advice for any young children coming through around the All Stars program and the Dynamos program, which is obviously launching this summer, aimed at sort of 9 to 11-year-olds, a mini version of the 100, I guess, for youngsters. Any words of advice for young children looking to get into those at their local clubs?
I think, like I said at the start, just making sure you're having fun, and grab a couple of friends and just have some fun and play hard. Put all your effort into it, run some energy out. Like we've been stuck inside for a long time, so when we do get out, make the most of it. Get to as many sessions as you can. Drag your mates along, and just have fun.
Amy, any words of wisdom? You got All Stars down at your clubs this summer that you know about, or Dynamos Cricket?
Not that I know about. So we've only just got the green light for the summer to really go ahead, haven't we? So I'm not too sure of the plans. But I'll just say get involved and have fun. Keep it simple, but just go down and enjoy yourself is enough. Brilliant.
Now you've both got very busy summers ahead. Do you want to just talk us through what the summer looks like from a Surrey women's angle, Southby Stars, and obviously the exciting sort of later in the summer where you're both involved in the 100. So Amy, do you want to just maybe talk us through how the summer's going to pan out for you?
I can try. I believe from April is Surrey Women. May, bit of Surrey Women, and then like late May to June, I believe, is South East Stars. Then the end of July to the end of August is the 100. And then there's a little bit more of South East Stars at the other end of it. So a very summer.
For those that don't know, what sort of formats are you going to be playing for each of those? So Surrey Women's, South East Stars, and then maybe just an overview of the 100, a new competition this summer.
Surrey Women, Rihanna, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's mostly T20s with a couple friendly 50 over matches. And then South East Stars is split. So there's T20s and 50 over matches. Yeah. The 100 is obviously the new setup of the 100 balls each innings. And then the other side of the 100 again is a split of 50 overs and T20s.
And in the 100, which team are you going to be playing for this summer, and how excited are you about that new competition that's coming out in July and August?
I'm playing for Welsh Fire, so I will be. I'm not sure where I'm living, somewhere in Wales, and I'm very excited to go over there. Actually, different scenery, different team. So I think it'd be quite nice to see how everything works. Because our head coach is Australian, so I feel like he might have a different input to the game as some English coaches do, so I'm very excited for that.
And Rihanna, yourself, just to maybe just touch on some of the stuff you're doing around Surrey and maybe the South East Stars, and then your team at the 100 as well.
Yeah, so my season looks very similar to Amy's, because we mostly play in the same sides, apart from the 100. So yeah, we've got Surrey kind of at the start of the season. I think it's really important to keep county cricket going. I don't think it's a good time to let it slack. It's still important to me, and hopefully we can keep it going. And
just to jump in, those that maybe want to go and watch you play for Surrey, where are the Surrey home games played?
I think we've got a game at Old Whitgiftians. I think we've got one of them. Where's the other home game?
Guildford.
Guildford. Yeah, I think we're at Guildford. It's because these the fixtures have only just come out. A lot of the venues are to be confirmed. Okay. But I normally put on my socials around the start of the season where we're going to be. So if you want to find out, it'll be on my Twitter. But yeah, I'm not just trying to get a few more followers, or maybe I am. But yeah, so Aim's got literally said it how it is. So we've got the South East Stars. We start off with the 50 over comp, then go into the T20 stuff. Then we play the 100, which is obviously the new format, and then go back to T20 and then back to 50 over stuff again.
And for those that don't know, or maybe won't know, who are you playing for in the 100?
So I'll be playing for the Oval Invincibles.
Fantastic. And what can you tell us about the first game of the 100 in the whole competition this summer? Enlighten everyone, so we make sure we've got as many people tuned in as we can this summer.
Yeah, absolutely. So huge occasion, especially for women's cricket as a whole. We are going to be opening up the 100 competition. We're going to be playing against Manchester Originals at the Oval. I can't remember the date of it. Is it the 26th?
I think it's like the 23rd.
I think it's a Friday. It's a Friday night.
Don't quote me on the date, but just go and have a look. Again, it's on my Twitter. But yeah, no, it's going to be huge for women's cricket. To be given an opportunity to open up a new competition is massive, and hopefully it's just another way of the ECB putting in some good strides to support the women's game, which we really appreciate.
Brilliant. And we've got one question here from Martha around the 100. Do you think there'll be different tactics to bowl the last over? 10 balls. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. There's more balls, obviously, so there definitely will be different tactics through the whole game itself, because it's no longer 6 balls in an over. So it'll be really important when the bowlers bowl their variations and who's going to bowl 5 balls, who's going to bowl the next 5 balls. It'll all be really important. It'll be a completely new tactical game. We'll have to kind of learn it as we go along as well.
Are we expecting to see you, Amy, bowling that last over potentially?
We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully not, because I don't think I have 10 balls in me, if I'm honest.
For those of you out there, date for your diary, 21st of July, live on the BBC, is match 1 of the 100. So really exciting times. I think we're almost ready to wrap up, but are there any last thoughts around how we can encourage more young boys and girls who potentially have had a really challenging last year and they're looking ahead to a summer, and they might be eyeing up lots of different sports? Why should they choose cricket? Amy?
It's the most sociable game I think there is. You're out in the field all day with your mates. That is perfect time for talking. All you've got to do is switch on for 10 seconds and then you've got about 20 seconds switched off. So it's one of the most social games I think you can have, especially if you're batting. You're just sitting on the side for about 2.5 hours doing nothing. Whereas football, it's only about a 90-minute game. So I'd go for the social to go with cricket.
Rihanna?
Yeah, completely agree. You'll make so many friends. And then when you've made all those friends, you can go and take them to watch cricket. So you can literally just pile it on, just live through cricket.
Fantastic. Listen, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much to Amy and Rihanna today. We look forward to seeing how you both get on over the summer. And if anyone else wants to hear more about some of the great work we're involved in, Surrey Cricket Foundation website, surreycricketfoundation.org. Look forward to seeing you all this summer. Take care and see you again soon. Bye.